Once upon a time, there was a rich girl who got bored a lot and didn't take care of her stuff. Typical. This particular rich girl happened to be a princess. Of course, this unnamed princess liked to hide out by a secluded well. Surprisingly, she found this a little boring, so she sometimes brought along her golden ball to play with. Must resist making inappropriate joke. She would often sit beside the well, tossing her golden ball into the air. What happened next would only surprise a toddler or this unnamed princess. She dropped her ball into the well. She was so distraught about this, she started to cry. All of a sudden, someone said, "What's wrong, princess?" The unnamed princess looked around and spotted a frog sitting on the edge of the well. Rather than be curious about a frog that could speak, she called it an old waddler and told him what happened. The frog offered to get the princess back her ball, but only if she promised to bring him to the castle, let him eat from her plate, and sleep in her bed. He basically wanted to be her spoiled pet. The unnamed princess agreed to the frog's terms, but she had no intention of keeping her promise. She loses her expensive toys and breaks her promises. Isn't she a great role model? As soon as the frog returned the ball, the unnamed princess ran off and left him alone by the well. The next night, the unnamed princess was sitting down to dinner when there was a knock at the door. Apparently, this royal family had no servants because the unnamed princess got up and opened the door. She saw the frog sitting there and slammed the door in his face, and then went back to dinner. The unnamed king asked her what was wrong, and she told him about the frog and her promise. Instead of investigating why this frog could talk, he demanded that his daughter keep her promise. Why aren't these people curious about a talking frog? Are there really that many talking animals in this kingdom that no one is surprised by a talking frog? The unnamed princess was forced to bring the frog in, place it on the table, and let it eat from her plate. Oh, the hardship! Naturally, she was grossed out by the experience, but it only got worse. Soon the frog was done eating. He then demanded that she stop eating too and take him up to her bedroom. When she balked at this, her father glared at her until she obeyed the frog. She picked up the frog with her thumb and forefinger and carried him up the stairs. When they got to her bedroom, she dropped the frog in a corner. The frog hopped over and demanded that she put him on the bed. You know, because frogs can't possibly jump up onto a bed. When she ignored the frog's orders, he did what any self-respecting, bratty kid would do. He threatened to tell her dad. The unnamed princess was done being pushed around by a frog. She picked him up and threw him against the wall. "Will that shut you up, you horrible frog?" she screamed. The frog hit the wall, but instead of having his brain smashed in, he turned into a prince, who she decided to marry. Right, because a guy who demands on sleeping in your bed in exchange for a favor is definitely marriage material. Apparently, an unnamed wicked witch transformed him into a frog, and only the unnamed princess could change him back. How exactly the unnamed princess's attempt to murder the frog broke the curse is never really explained. But since these are people who don't even wonder about a talking frog, maybe they never bothered to ask. The end. Good night, everyone, and may you find your one true love through manipulation and attempted murder. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Do it soon before my talking frogs start sleeping in your bed.